Good evening and welcome to Between the Lanes, episode number 106. I'm Ron.
And I'm Walker.
And Shane is missing in action. Not really. He's got some other stuff going on. So
he's eating tacos.
Yeah, off the taco truck. So welcome to Between the Lanes, episode number 106. You can find us on YouTube. Slot Racer is the channel, 106 episodes. Some how-to art videos and some special episodes too. Facebook, Between the Lanes is the page on Facebook. And we have some race results from last weekend. Not a busy race weekend, but the winning reports. The Florida Wing Car Series was in action at Eddie's in Pinellas Park, Florida. And in the Group F race, John Craddock was your winner. Jeff Cox was second. Those two were like on the same lap. And then Carmen Spence was third. I think he was either one or two laps behind. So it was a pretty tight race. In the Group 12 Light, Tommy Stringfield was the winner. John Craddock was second. And Jimmy Morey was third. And that was another one or two lap race as well. And then box 12 wound the day up. Carmen Spence was the winner. Tommy Stringfield second. John Putnam was in third. And they had a pretty good turnout. I mean, Group F, I know they had an A and B main, and I think they had full mains or maybe a round robin in the other two classes. So that was pretty good. NorCal Retro, don't have any, they didn't put any photos up of the podium. So it was at in Modesto, California, at Gene's place. I can't think of the name. Motown Raceway. There you go. Came to my mind. So Herman James was the winner in the retro stock car class. Mark Bauer was second. Dave Cumero was third. And Can-Am Tracy Chin was the winner. Herman James second. Rocky Rommel was third. And then in F1, Jim Fowler was the winner. Tracy Chin second, and Herman James in third. I guess Tracy's getting ready for the Israel Worlds by racing retro cars. Don't know. And then the other race that took place last weekend, I have no photos. We don't have any results except for one class. It was the Jake Kisling Memorial Race at Speed Zone Raceway. Mount Holly, New Jersey. No idea on who won Flexi or who the top three were. But I do know that Matt Bruce won the F1 class at that race. So congratulations to Matt. And hopefully next week we'll have more results and photos from that event. And that's winner, chicken dinner for last weekend.
Sunday, Tuesday.
Okay, so let's see. This weekend's the weekend of the 24th. So we got a lot going on. We got SCRRA at Boyne Park. We got F2000 at Alpha. We've got the British Slot Racing Internets taking place in Corby. You should be there, Walker, but I know you're not. I think that's maybe the last maybe kind of warm-up race before the Israel World starts next month or first week of October. New England Retro Racing is kicking their series off. Retro East is kicking their series off this weekend. GUR Retro is in action this weekend. And the Hard Body Triathlon is taking place at Slot Car Track Concord, and we know that Walker will be there for that. And
sure.
The following weekend's Labor Day weekend, the only race I have on the calendar besides this one here. So Labor Day weekend, you've got the Bad Boy Slot Car Bracket Drag World Championship races at Batesville Slot Cars and Hobbies in Batesville, Arkansas, home of Mark Martin. Just thought I'd throw that in there. And you've got Texas Retro at Dallas Slot Cars. The weekend of September 7th, you've got the third annual Legends race at Thaser Raceway. Penn, Jersey is at the Race Place, and Penn, Ohio is at Mark's Model World. And then the following week, starting on the 11th, will be the start of the USRA Wing Carnets at PA Watson's in Texas. East Coast Flexi Series is in action. OCC kicks off their series at A&J Raceway in Elyria. The Sano Retro Race takes place at Chicagoland Raceway. And the Florida Slot Car Series is at Fast Eddie's. So it takes us up to September 14th. So, and Walker still needs money. And he says bye-bye.
Anything.
Anything. Send anything. Anything helps.
I'll take breadcrumbs.
Breadcrumbs. Okay, so a couple other notes. The Flexi Flats race that will be held November 2nd. Mid-America Naperville. Sign-ups are open. You can go to the Flexi Flats page, Flexi Flats 2019 page on Facebook. Find a link there to sign up. And as of today, because Ernie put a list up, I think it had 21 guys on it. I know that Rob Voska signed up today, so it's up to at least 22 entries. And we announced last weekend the Flexi West 2020 race at Fast Tracks will be February 21st and 22nd, and there will be more details coming on that soon, I'm sure. But other than that, it's been kind of slow in the slot racing world as far as news and controversy and other things coming up.
Somebody needs to pick a fight and get it recorded so that we can have something to talk about.
Well, maybe Shane needs to go to a race because it seems like every time he goes to a real race, a fight breaks out, and either he catches it on video or there's a link to it. So, and right now we're gonna do giveaways because I forgot to do this the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, there you go. Go ahead and get it out of the way.
Get it out of the way so I don't forget. Because last week I set the bucket up there and everything, and I still, going into the show, I'm like, oh, I forgot to do the giveaways. So we are giving away to 2 winners.
$100,000.
Yeah, okay. Walker's giving away $100,000. Contact him. So we're giving 2 drawings, 2 winners, 1 pair each of Mid-America Rough Cut tires. You will contact Roger at Mid-America, Naperville on Facebook, or Roger Schmidt on Facebook to claim your prize. I think he wants to know what size and axle and stuff like that. So the first winner is, oh, looky there. He's
Oh, my God.
Shane Parent.
This is rigged, I'm telling you.
Well, he's not even on the show to go woohoo and all that good stuff. Maybe that's the blessing in disguise.
This is rigged.
And winner number 2 would be Tim Hoffman. Tim Hoffman races in Pennsylvania in the East Coast Flexi Car Series. I know that. So Tim Hoffman, Shane Parent, you need to contact Roger at Mid-America for your free pair of slot car tires.
Do you know if Shane has his contact info?
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Oh.
I doubt it.
Okay, so I guess I'll go ahead and announce this to the world.
Go for it.
I will be making a world's vlog, aka keeping up with my dad and all of his mischief.
That's good.
I bought a action camera. I figured out how to use it. It's pretty nice, actually. And I'll be compiling a bunch of clips, and whenever I get back from the races, I'll sit down, edit it all, and post it on YouTube.
Cool.
For everybody to see. And everybody to make fun of.
Okay. Are you going to try and do a live show from over there?
I can try to.
Okay. We'll discuss it later.
Yeah. We can do interviews. I'll get the camera out. We can get some little clips.
Okay, so I have a question for you, and
Yep.
you can either answer it. I can neither confirm or deny this.
Oh boy.
So on Facebook last week, there was a picture of two guys holding a balancer made in Brazil, Brazilian Facebook page. Nothing was in English. I don't even know if you could translate it. But they was holding up a balancing machine that they make there, and they said it was headed to North Carolina.
No.
No. You're not confirming, you're not denying.
I hope not. I really do hope not.
So if the balancing machine is headed towards the slot car track Concord, this is a Randy purchase.
I really hope not. If so, I'm gonna slap him.
Because I'm trying to think, well, who in North Carolina would buy an armature balancer? And I'm thinking, well, I guess Walker could. Or
I don't know.
Okay. And it could be anybody. I mean,
maybe even Timmy. Timmy, you gonna start doing arm work? $1 an arm, boys.
So I thought, well, we'll put Walker on the hot seat.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Unless there's some sort of a secret I don't know about, then I don't think so.
Maybe it's Charles, so he can balance his womp arms to go faster.
Yeah,
So his womps can be more rockier.
He needs a. He doesn't need an arm balancer though. He literally just needs a womp tamer. You put them in there, they kind of. It kind of works like a tumbler where they like get jolted around and stuff a little bit, and it kind of knocks out all the bad, and it just leaves nothing because
Okay.
the only thing left would be good.
I'm gonna take your word for that.
Yeah, I'll sell you one for $100,000.
But you were just giving away $100,000. Oh, we forgot to draw for that $100,000 winner.
Yeah, no. I gave away a penny.
Yeah. Give away $100,000 bar.
Yeah.
So, let's see. I mean, I've been racking my brain all day trying to figure out what we might talk about, but I kept coming up blank. I've got some stuff in the works for some upcoming shows. I might even get a couple of new how-to videos done in the next week or two.
Here we go. I just found a good thing to talk about.
Yeah, oh boy. Oil?
Oil. Yep.
Oil. Okay.
So, the question is, do you prefer a thinner style oil or a thicker style oil?
For oil lights, thicker, and for ball bearings, thinner.
Bingo. I didn't want to say it, but
And people say, well, why do you want the thicker oil? Because the thicker oil clings better and creates a better film on the oil light to the axle or the bushing to the motor shaft. And thinner oil dissipates, goes away quicker, especially in a bushing application. Yeah. I mean, like, I think if you're qualifying, thin oil is okay to qualify with.
Qualifying oil. Yeah.
But to race with, you want thicker oil.
Yeah, and I actually found some like super, super thick oil. I don't know what it is. Okay. It's like the slickest crap I've ever felt in my life.
Okay.
So I started using it on the hard bodies, on the crown gears.
Uh-huh.
And it
sticks. Well, okay, so nice. You know what the best thing to oil your crown gear with is?
Rear end grease.
No. Like stick it or heavy brown glue, or just, it doesn't have to be brown, but heavy tire glue.
I'll take your word for that.
It works. I'm telling you.
I'll take your word for it.
It works. It'll quiet them babies right up.
Oh yeah, it'll quieten them right up, but they'll lose about 0.4 of speed.
No, they won't. You do test it, and you test it, and you let us know next week.
Oh boy. I'll test it on somebody else's stuff.
You just
Sorry, Carl.
you can just test it on yours, and
Yeah.
then if you don't think it works, you can rinse it off with lighter fluid or maybe motor spray.
That'd take ages.
See, so like, okay, so back.
It'd be all over the chassis, the body.
No, you don't. You don't. You just put a little bit on there, and you just kind of roll the car real slow.
I'm gonna take a toothpick and put it on there.
No, just a little dot. Because years ago, some guys would like really squeeze the glue on their gear. It works for spur gears too. I mean, you can do any gears with it. So, but you don't really need to oil your pinion and spur gear. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
back when we ran metal gears, yeah, you definitely needed to. But
Yeah.
with the plastics they use and everything, it's not. I mean, I never oil my pinion or my spur gear. So, or my crown gear. But guys would put tire glue, big globs of it on there, and like maybe put their car going into a turn in between heats, and then when the power would come on, they would sling the glue off the gear onto the track, like when you're not supposed to glue the track, or maybe in spray glue conditions. Because after a 2-minute heat, the glue's kind of gone off the track, but it kind of gave you that advantage for a few laps.
Yeah.
So
what you got to do is you got to fill the rear bumper up with it, and then it just slowly drips out.
Drips out, right.
Perfect.
You
might start the heat heavy, but you'll be handling, buddy.
And then and then after races, I've seen cars that have had so much glue on the bottom of the body or the tails of the side dams that you could, just put it right back in the bottle.
Yeah.
Glue, fling, and fun, as they used to say down at the Okie Open.
You know what we need to do? We need a little bottle, like a little nitrous bottle. Need to get a little bottle and put a little toothpick on the end of it, and then fill the bottle with comm drops, and then have the toothpick go down to the end bell and just drop comm drops onto the comm as you're racing.
It's funny that you say that, because they're back in the 60s, guys actually kind of built like these self-oiling type rigs or whatever they put on their cars, and they'd have self-oilers. But I don't think comm drops would be very good, because I think you're going to sling most of that on the track, and you're going to make the track pretty greasy.
Well, I mean, hey, everybody's got to deal with it, right?
Yeah, well.
You need a button on your controller to press. You just press a button, and it looks like a mush button, but it's really a nitrous button. You just hold it down, and it's like a push to pass. You just, and then you blow up the next straightaway.
Yeah, all kinds of dirty tricks. All kinds of dirty tricks have been done in the past.
In our dang hard body series, the guys over oil all their cars, and so they sling oil all over the track all the time. And so every time, like in between every heat, I just walk around with a rag and wipe off my lane from oil. And so they're like all out there racing on oil, and I'm just wiping it nice.
Right. You're getting traction.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. They all complain about how loose their cars are. Well, if you feel their tires, they're full of oil.
Right.
It's pretty funny.
Well, so that's like years ago. We used to, okay, so when I started racing on the track I raced at, you weren't allowed to use glue.
Yeah.
And it was just forbidden. So we used wintergreen oil on our tires.
Mm-hmm.
So you would daub oil of wintergreen onto the tires, and over time it would open the pores and they would get softer, and but I can remember, and they would also get bigger. They would like swell up.
Yeah, and you could pass tech.
Well, yeah, we didn't. So that was okay. So that's another story. But like after I don't know, a race or two, you could squeeze the tires and actually like see the oil come out of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it never made your car. I mean, when you put it on and you didn't let it dry or you didn't wipe it off, your car would slide around.
Yeah.
But if you let it dry or you wiped it off and put your car on, you had traction. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but it never seemed like, I mean, you really had to squeeze that tire to get that oil to come out of there. I mean, it was
Yeah.
really. But it's funny you mentioned tech. Like, we didn't really have tech. We didn't check clearance. Okay, we didn't check width. Okay, so like we called the Womp class the stock class, and it had to be like it came out of the box. I mean, it had to have the right spacers and had to have the right fronts, had to have the right rears. Now, back then the Womp cars came with like 7/8 rear tires.
Yeah.
So like Parma made 3/4 tires, 875 or 7/8 tires, and they made like, I think, 1/16. So all the ready to run Womps came with 7/8 tires on them, and you were not allowed to put 3/4 tires on them, but you would we would run our cars until the tires got small.
Yeah.
And then, like, the guy who tech cars would say, well, your tires are too small. You need to put bigger tires on this. So, like, one night, we had some kind of championship race, 75 laps or something. And we only, we would draw for what lane we were going to be on, and we would put the cars on, and we would run whoever got 75 laps first won. We didn't change lanes or none of that. So I teched my car in. I think I drew green lane, and the guy who won, he drew blue lane, and like blue lane was the lane to have. But so he wins the race, and after the race is over, the track owner's going around, he's picking the cars up, and he's looking at them, and he goes, Ron Hirschman, you've been disqualified. Your tires are too small. I'm like, yeah, but you guys, I teched it in, and you passed it. Your tires are too small. You're disqualified. So it's like, okay. So then I bought a new set of tires and put them on, and it took a couple of weeks for them to get working by the time the wintergreen. But I didn't really notice much difference of the car. See, that was the thing. Like, we were so naive, we didn't really understand that the lower your car was, the better it handled, or the wider it was. We didn't know none of that stuff, like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they suck so much it didn't matter.
Well, they didn't suck. It was like.
Yeah, it was all you had. So
it was always, I mean, we had other classes, but you had to spend a lot more money to run those classes.
Yeah.
So, the Womps then were like $12 cars. In the next class, it was a $25 or $28 car. So we had tons of Womps, and we couldn't glue the track, and we didn't know anything about putting lead in cars. We didn't know anything about tuning cars. Nobody knew nothing. And you just drove differently to make your car work. Or hope you drew a good lane. But
that's more about it.
Right. So then this is another funny story. So there was probably about 10 or 12 guys that could win on any given night, depending on what lanes they were on. And I remember the racing being pretty close and tight. And so we got to a point where it was like these 5 or 6 guys were winning all the time. So the track made a new rule. If you won the feature, because we call them features, if you won the feature, when you came back the next time to race, you had to run the feature on black lane.
Oh, boy.
Okay, and we ran on a 80-foot American Windsor. And black lane was the lane nobody practiced on. Nobody liked black lane. Black lane was always slick because we didn't spray glue the track, but the track would get a buildup of wintergreen and tire rubber, like a base on the track. So all the other lanes had pretty good base except for black and purple. So, and black was horrible. So, I mean, no one had ever won. Most of the races were won on orange and blue. I can remember a couple guys winning on green. I can remember one guy one time winning on red. So they put so the first night that they announced, starting next week, if you win tonight, you're going to run black. This guy wins the Womp race, and then he wins what we called Open, which was a sliding plumber Parma chassis with any kind of C-cam motor.
Oh, wow.
No air control. It was a $28 car, but then you could do whatever you wanted to the motor. So that guy wins that race. When he comes back the next week, he has to run Black Lane in both races. So smart man, he came in and he practiced and practiced and practiced on Black Lane. And he won both features on Black Lane the next week. And they said, well, when you come back, you got to run Black Lane. And he never came back. Because he's like, why should I have to run black? Because that was my punishment for winning the week before. So you make me run black and I win.
Yeah.
I should be, we should just draw. And well, anyway, so he never came back.
Dang. Poor guy. Black Lane specialist.
But he proved that you could win on Black Lane.
You can win on any lane.
Yep. And I mean, he was fast. I mean, he was, it wasn't like he won because the races were crash fest. I mean, he beat those guys.
Yeah.
So
he was doing some tuning.
Yeah, well, I don't think he was, but I mean, he was just another guy that could win. I mean, he was not like the guy to beat at the track at that time.
Oh, okay.
I mean, like I said, the night he won the 2 races, it was the first time he'd won two races.
Yeah.
He came back, and like I said, but he was in there practicing on Black Lane.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he just figured out how to get around it and got his timing down. Plus, I think he kind of helped put a little base on Black Lane.
Yeah.
And kind of ran the lane in.
Got the wintergreen built up pretty good.
Yep. So, yeah, it's another oddity story.
Need a wintergreen fountain, like those chocolate fountains at the Golden Corral. Need a wintergreen fountain, and in between heats, you just stick your car in it, and then you can pull it back out, rub the tires a little bit, and then you're ready to go.
So then the stupidest thing that we ever did. Have you ever seen Rhino bodies?
No.
Okay, so like Rhino was this company that started making bodies in 83, 84, 82, 83. And they were primarily 1/32 bodies to fit Womp cars when they first came out. And he made some really cool bodies, like he made ASA Camaro, and that's kind of what we ran a lot of, because we ran like stock car bodies. He had like a Buick Regal NASCAR, but he made this really cool offset modified with the engine on the left side. And so we decided we were going to have I don't know if we called it a modified 500 or a dirt track 500, or I think it had something to do with dirt racing. So I told the guy that managed the track, I said, we need to like clean the track before the race. And he's like, okay, what do I clean it with? I said, well, you could, use lacquer thinner, or, just go real gentle with it. Because we didn't know about naphtha. We didn't know about Coleman. Yeah. We didn't know about any of that stuff. I mean, we just didn't know none. It was like, just clean it with some lacquer thinner.
Yeah.
Okay. So the race was like at 7 at night, and I was out of town. I got back to town around 5, went to the track, and everybody had to buy a body because no one really raced those bodies. But I got a body. I mean, my car was ready, and put my car on the track, and it's like just spinning the tires, like, and it gets going, and it's all sideways, and gets to the turn, and just slides out. And I look at Byron. I'm like, what did you do to the track? And he's laughing. I go, what'd you do? He says, well, I cleaned it. I said, okay. And he goes, well, then I lemon pledged it.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it took like 3 months for the track to ever come back. It was horrible.
Wow.
Horrible. But, I mean, it wasn't like racing on dirt. It was like racing on ice.
Yeah.
A lot of guys left, and I think we only had probably 8 guys that stuck around. And I wound up winning, but I mean, it was just like you could, I don't know, 7-ohm controller, and no, I don't even think I ever held my car wide open the whole race. I mean, never could,
Yeah.
because it would
Slower
get
to be wide open, anyways.
right, and it would get to swinging, and then if as soon as you left for the brakes, then it would really get to swinging.
Yeah. You got to be
So
gradual.
yeah, it was not a fun night of racing, but it was Womp racing. So that's what we loved.
We need to just leave all tracks that are having a Womp race clean with no spray glue. Then you won't bend them as much because they won't be going as fast.
Maybe RM Chassis should come out with a hardened Womp chassis.
It needs to be like made out of tungsten or something. So it's heavy
So
and
you,
it's
so you can
sturdy.
you can draw that baby up and start bending up Womp chassis.
Yeah.
New product idea. You heard it here first.
Yeah. Mm.
You can make it out of some thicker material.
Yeah. 100,000s.
I don't know about that thick, but
Quarter inch.
you can probably make it out of 50.
You can make it out of a quarter inch and just drill a guide hole in it.
There you go. So yeah, there you go. Product idea. Get them hardened. It's Womparama.
Those womps you raced at
Knoxville?
Turnenburg, your old ones from back whenever you started.
No, I didn't. No. I ran
Yeah, I know you ran rigging cars.
yeah. I didn't dig my old cars out. I should have, but I didn't.
Yeah, you should have. You should have ran those. Those Palmer brass cars are pretty
No, I
top end
needed my
material.
old. I think I needed my old Thumper.
Oh boy.
I don't ever remember bending Womps up like that years back in the early 80s.
Oh, the rigging bends really easily. So.
Well, we didn't know what riggins were. Riggins were not even.
Oh yeah.
It was either Parma Womps or Champion Thumpers. And we never let brass ones run. We always ran either Parma or Thumper. They were both steel.
Yeah.
Because see, Parma did not make a Womp ready to run with the brass chassis that was 1250, or it was a super Womp or a special Womp or something like, and it was way more money. So, because this was on Facebook not too long ago, because Parma made a Womp ready to run that had the brass chassis, the O-ring fronts, a pro style wedge body, air control came in the box. I think those were, and they had orange tires on them. They were like 1850 or something. Orange tires. In the stock Womps, or the Womps, had the fat foam fronts and black rears and some kind of sedan or stock car body. And so yeah,
I miss those old orange tires.
old
I used to
orange
race
tires.
those. Yeah, whenever I first started, we raced a 4-inch flexi class, and we ran out of the box Parma flexi 5s,
Right.
and you could use either the MX tires, the black ones, or the orange Parma tires. And I always ran the orange ones because, I was a little kid and the orange looked better. But those things chunked so bad. It was unbelievable how bad they were whenever it came to that. I mean, 1 or 2 races, they were just chunked up and
Well, see,
cooked.
back then, all the black tires were pretty much made for 1/8-inch axles.
Yeah.
Okay, so the pro tires on 332nd axles were orange. like in 1982 or whatever. And then
Yeah.
I think the next color to come out was by any of the big tire companies. I think that's the next color to come out might have been tan.
Yeah. Limpox?
Limpac and, well, Caymanwood, I think, was the first to make tan.
I really love some blue Limpox now. Those things?
So everybody had orange. I mean, Covert came out with, I think, yellow before he did tan. Alpha
I
had
don't understand why
tan.
you can't use
I mean,
colored tires now.
eventually, most all the companies had every color there was. Alpha had like every color there was.
Yeah.
Or pretty close to it. There was 13 different Rubitex colors.
Why can't we use colored tires now?
Because no one in the country is making SBR rubber.
By
Well,
God, there's orange Crocs.
I shouldn't say that. But see, those are made in China, and that isn't SBR rubber.
Yeah, so we can just what we can do is we can just go to the Walmart, buy a bunch of flip flops, cut tires out of them.
But that's not SBR rubber anymore. But the SBR rubber that is being made in the States, or last I knew was being made in the States, it's only available in black.
Dang, that's terrible. I'm gonna protest. Where's their headquarters?
Well, it used to be in Bedford, Virginia.
And go over there with our signs.
I think Rubitex is back in business, but maybe it's got a different name. And I don't think their product line's exactly the same either, but nobody runs SBR tires anymore. Haven't for years.
Man, I soaked them blue Limpox in some good old wintergreen and every other tire softener on earth. Got them soft again. Went out there and ran them. Won a race with them. Soaked them all week the next week. Put them on the car. Went through the high bank. Both donuts went.
Came right off the wheels. I was getting ready to say, they come off the rims.
I was so sad.
So, see, back like in the 80s and the early 90s, like red Rubitex was the color to run on 30-second Eurosports. That was like.
I've got a couple pair of those.
And everybody said, "Oh, the good red rubber comes from Spain." Well, the red rubber in Spain was from Rubitex. I mean, like.
Yeah.
But nobody was buying. Like I said, it was so much simpler back then. There was like two colors of tires, orange and black.
Yeah. Now we've got all black tires and all kinds of different rubbers. See, we need color-coded stuff again.
And it was just
so
kind
we
of like
can
at one
figure
time.
out what stuff is.
And at one time, there was just kind of like one wheel diameter.
Oh God, no! Now we got like.
And there was
no Wonder rubber.
There was no full hub. It was all a wing car style hub.
Oh yeah, those are great. I love
all the tires were on. That's what I'm saying. And then I don't know what came first. I do,
Chicken
but
or the egg.
I'm not going to hurt my brain tonight trying to.
Yeah. I mean, now tires are just like there's so many different ones. And all the rubbers are so drastically different most of the time.
Well, it varies batch to batch, and
yeah.
I mean, some guys have donuts that they've had for 20 years. They bought 100 pair 20 years ago, and they just use them for themselves or their high-end racing, and they still have them. But then they've got some they got 15 years ago and 10 years ago and 10 months ago, 10 weeks ago, and 10 days ago.
Yep. All different batches.
So yeah, right.
Yeah, I was told if I could get my hands on a batch of Piranha donuts from 12 years ago, that would be a good tire for Worlds.
Yeah, well that's about the last time that the rubber was the good stuff or the premium stuff. Ever since then, it's been different.
Yeah, well, that was way before I was even in slot cars. So.
And some of the newer stuff, depending again where it comes from, some works as good as that old stuff, and some of it doesn't.
Yep.
So you got to know which one of those to get. And then you go somewhere like going to Israel. I mean, you don't really know what's going to work for sure. And
Exactly.
what works for Horky may not work for you. I mean,
Yeah. And you got to mount all these different rubbers on different size hubs.
right. Yeah, it's
You
pretty
got to
complicated.
order 2,000 different size hubs.
Yep, it's really complicated. But
Uh,
it's open racing. You know what I'm saying?
yep.
So like in your production class, it's a spec class. They're using the hand up tires, so everybody's using. It's less
Yeah.
complicated.
Need handout tires for every class.
You know, I think if it's an open class, it's run what you brung.
Yeah. Oh, I know that was a joke.
I know, but I'm just
Meant to be
saying
funny.
that's kind of what Group Seven's about.
Yeah.
But other classes, things should be spec'd to make it easier and cheaper
Yeah.
for the participants.
I mean, as long as the tires work, like sometimes you have that point in time where the tires really don't work very well.
Right.
And that's really whenever you're just like, whew.
Well, I'd rather be too stuck than to be loose because I can always narrow the tire up and loosen the car up or do, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you're too
Yeah, you
loose,
gotta fill them with glue if you're too.
yeah, if you're too loose, you can't, the tire's too hard, you can't tighten the car up.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I mean at Palooza, I had an issue turning on the tires, getting them warm enough to where they actually worked right. They'd take like 5 or 6 laps, if not more, for me to actually get them really warm and going.
Whose handout tires do we use? Alpha?
No, we used Mid America Wonder Rubber,
Okay.
and I for some reason had a hard time turning them on, like switching them on, to get them warm so they actually had
Oh,
grip.
okay, you're talking Flexi Palooza.
Yeah, FlexiPalooza.
I thought you were talking the Moxville race.
No, 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 no,
Okay.
no, no.
Because at the Moxville, did we use Alpha?
Moxville was open
Oh,
tires.
that's right. Yeah, that's right. Just the motors were handout. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. I didn't have any. Well, I think the problem with the Mid America tires at the Flexi Palooza was they just varied so much in the hardness.
Yeah, and like one pair I had punched like 8 numbers different than another pair. I was like, these I guess will be GTP tires, but in reality, I needed the softest set I had.
Right. Because I had like 20s, 22s, 26s, 28s.
Yeah, I had a pair of 19s. That was like godsend. I had a pair of 19s. That was LMP tires. I just threw those over there, and then which me and Dad both raced, so we had 8 pair between
Right.
us,
To pick
which
through.
was
Right.
nice.
Right.
Um, so we had that pair of 19s, a pair of 20s, a pair, two or I think 2 pair of 22s, a couple pair of 23s. Then we had one pair that was like 30s, and then we had another pair that was just 2 tires I couldn't match. It was like a 21 and a 28 or something.
Because we had 322s and we had 320s, and the rest was 26 or 28s.
Yeah,
And we ran the 20s in LMP, and then we ran the 22s in GTP.
yeah, yeah. I tried putting on the rocks for GTP.
Yeah,
That
no,
was just not good.
was not working.
Yeah, and I really wish actually the tires came a little bigger so we could kind of cut the rubber down a little more because I felt like the more I ran them, the better grip I was getting out of them.
Okay.
Of course, I was filling them with glue too. I mean, they were like,
Well, I think those tires were 760 or something, weren't they, or 770?
I was cutting them to 765 to 760.
Okay,
They
that
were,
must have been a little bigger,
yeah, I was running big tires for that race.
obviously.
Um, I always seem to run like whatever my tech height is, I always run like 10 thousandths taller than that.
Okay.
For some reason, that just gives me better handling characteristics. I don't know why.
Okay. So
Usually the cars.
if you got to clear by 50, you clear by 60.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
That's usually how it is.
I mean, there are days that a taller car works better than a lower car.
Yeah. You have more rake, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, I don't
Better
know.
aerodynamics. I don't know.
I think it loosens the car up a little bit.
Yeah. Which our chassis are a tight chassis, so that's very realistic. Like I ran the same pair of tires at Nats. I ran the same pair of Koford Wonder Hard wing car tires in Amateur 12, which I made half a heat, so just scratch that. Amateur 12, GTP, and LMP. Ran the same pair of tires. And then I also ran that pair of tires at Moxville. Exact same pair that just
Okay,
sat in the box collecting dust the whole time. And it still passed tech with like 5 thousandths.
gotcha.
It was like, wow. That pair of tires really got me good there.
Cool.
Just filled them up with glue a couple times, got them alive again, and they were ready to rumble.
Yep. Yeah, I think that might be a kind of a how-to thing.
Yeah,
Some
yeah,
tire,
just
some tire prep and some. Uh,
and what kind of tire glue to use in certain
yeah,
situations.
I kind of always just use brown stick it.
I have Stick It Red. I like Stick It Red. I don't know if you can buy that stuff anymore, but
I think you can.
it's pretty nice. It's a nice old bottle.
Yeah, I think that Cayman still makes all three.
Yeah,
And Cofort's got light and medium
yeah.
and too.
Uh, Kofor glue seems a little slimier to me.
It is
I
it
really
is
like
it
Cayman.
is like a little oiler. It's not as doesn't have a little that stick.
Yeah, yeah. I really like using Cayman Stick It Red. That's really nice stuff.
But
And like, whew,
I mean, as more and more stuff goes, spray glue and
yeah,
I can remember back like when we raced wing cars, everything was you glue. There was no spray glue.
yeah,
And I can remember like when the Cofer glue came out, it didn't intermix well with a track that had a lot of Cayman on it.
yeah,
And some guys, like if a Cayman guy was following a Cofer guy in
yeah,
a race, he would complain. I don't remember the Cofer guys really complaining, but I mean, the Cofer guys had raced with Stick It for so long before Cofer ever came out with glue.
yeah,
So, yeah, there was a difference.
yeah. Which, like, of course, I've never really put glue on the track. Really,
Right,
I would hope so. I mean, if I was putting glue on the track at a display crew race, that'd be kind of
right,
bad. But I mean, sometimes I'll take a pair of tires. Like if I know a pair of tires is gonna work, I just know it. I'll
right.
clean them out with some lighter fluid or some naphtha or whatever I have sitting around there, and I'll clean them out real good. I'll put them on some random just junk car with an axle in it. I'll just roll it in that glue, get it
Right.
nice and thick on there. Just let it sit for about 30 minutes. I'd
Okay.
run it off, and then I'd roll it again, get it
Right.
nice and soaked.
So, probably back about 7 years ago or so, when Rick Davis was running a lot of retro racing, he had made a machine, and basically what it was, it would rotate the tire against like a board that you put glue on. So it was
hmm
pressing the glue into
Into the
the
tire.
tire. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
what I want to make is I want to make tire blankets, little slot car tire blankets,
Well,
so you can
they've
warm
had
your
them for
tires up.
RC cars for years.
Yeah, just need to make some for slot cars. Get your tires nice and warm. Just pull them suckers off, put your car down, and burn a hole in the track.
Okay, so you need to go get some. You need to go get like maybe some big hand gloves. And you cut the fingers off the tip.
Yeah,
You put them on your tires, and you squirt them with lighter fluid and then light them for just a few seconds. Pull
Need
them
to
off.
make them. Need to make them out of like racing gloves, so they're fireproof. You know.
So you're probably laughing because you've probably never seen me do this, okay? So we're in a retro race, and I want my tires to stay warm in between heats, but I got to cool my motor.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out a way to cool the motor without getting air blown to the tires.
Yeah.
So Dan Myers comes over and slides 2 empty tire tubes over the tires.
Yeah. There you go.
And it worked great. I mean, honestly, it worked. I mean, it was great because it was like, now I can really cool my motor.
Well, then what you can do is you can slide the 2 empty tire tubes over the tires, and then have a lighter, and just take the lighter and go back and forth on each tire, and just rotate the axle, and then you can get them nice and warm.
The other way you could do it too is you could take. Well, I don't know if you've ever seen this. Have you ever seen the? Have you been to Israel? You haven't been to an Israel World yet, have you?
No.
Okay. So, what you will see is you'll see some guys in practice, or Dave's. What they'll do is they'll unglue their hubs from the rubber, and they'll stick a soldering iron up inside the hub and heat it for a few seconds, and then push that hub out.
Yeah.
As it gets the hub hot really quick, softens the glue up, it comes out. So if you had a couple of soldering irons and had them on really low temp.
Yeah, there we go.
You could stick them in the hubs.
We need a machine.
I mean, I think there's a lot of things you could probably come up with. I don't know if it's all that important every day, but yeah, it could be done.
It'd be useful for somebody at some point.
Yeah. So, if there's a will, there's a way. But the problem is, like, for qualifying, I mean, how are you going to, your car is an impound, how are you going to keep it?
Well, what a lot of wing car guys do is they put glue on the tires and rub them and get them warm. So, I want to figure out a way to not have to get my fingers all sticky.
Okay, but think about this. So they rub their tires.
Yeah.
Okay, if they have 104 degree fever, they're going to be 104 degrees.
Yeah.
And if the race weighs 70 degrees or 80 degrees, is that making enough difference in that short amount of time to?
Hey, I do it on my flexi cars. So if I can stick my finger in the hub, I'm doing it.
I think if you roll your car in the glue, and that glue is on there for a couple laps. By the time the glue quits affecting, then the tires are warm enough to where you're getting hooked up.
I mean, that's what I was doing at Palooza. I was just every heat, just over there, just getting good amount on there, rubbing them in, putting it on the track, and going. We used a lot of tire glue at that race. Whew. Timmy had a glue board ready with one kind of glue. I had a glue board ready with another kind. Cameron had one ready with another kind. We was ready for it.
So what kind worked the best?
Stick it red.
Okay.
Yeah, one of them had Coford Heavy on it, and I hated it. Then there was another one that was like Tire Bite or something.
Well, that's Champion, which Champion's kind of the same thing as, well, Champion used to be kind of the same thing as Coke Cayman.
Yeah, so we had a heavy Tire Bite. That stuff worked pretty well. It was annoying to actually work with because it was just really thick. You had to stand there with the bottle upside down for like 5 minutes and just stare at it.
Well, you're supposed to turn the bottle upside down and leave it for 5 minutes, come back, and then when you're done, you can put it back up there upside down.
I'm too impatient to actually wait for it. So I'm just sitting there hitting it on the table and squeezing on it and getting a little bit out of the time. Just
You're impatient. You're 19.
I just want my glue, man.
If you had a manly grip, you could just squeeze it right out of there.
Oh, I was squeezing and it wasn't doing very much because there was about this much in the bottom. Didn't have very much to mess with.
All right, so what's the secret word going to be?
I don't know, something to do with tires, I guess.
Whatever, you pick it.
Stick it red.
We'll just go stick it.
Stick it. There you go.
Stick it.
Stick it. That's good enough.
All right. Well, that'll bring a close to episode 106. Lots of racing this weekend. If you're going racing, have fun. Good luck. Be safe. We'll be next week. We'll be here next week to talk about it. And congratulations to Shane Parent and Tim Hoffman.
Boo.
Why are you booing them?
This is rigged, man. Is my name in the bucket? I need you to go through that bucket right now.
Right now.
And show me my name in there, in that bucket. Right now. And I want to see if the paper's cut.
Well, there you go.
Is that Randy or is that Walker?
That's Walker. No, that was Randy. You're in here probably. If you haven't won anything in a long time, you're in here.
Oh yeah, I haven't won anything, period.
Well, you're in here. I thought you won something one time.
No.
Okay. Your dad's
Probably
back.
won my own thing if I did.
I could have swore you won something. Well, I'll have to look.
I don't think I did. I'm not very lucky whenever it comes to drawings. At the Mid-South race, though.
Yeah, you cleaned up.
Yeah, I won my own chassis in the drawing, and then I won a JK chassis in the drawing.
There you go.
So go me.
All right. Well, we'll have to rig the next drawing so Walker can win, so he can shut up.
Yeah, there we go.
You're like-
$100,000 giveaway.
You're like Dan Myers. My name's not in there. Well, he'd always message me. My name's not in there. It's like, yeah, it is.
Mine's definitely not. You
It's
couldn't even
not
find
mine.
it.
I mean, like when you got 300-400 names in there, come on.
Yeah, but still,
All right.
you got to treat your host well.
Until okay. Until next week. Have fun. Good luck. Be safe. Your host with the most, Walker McNulty, should be back next week. Episode 107. Secret word this week is stick it.
Stick it.
Adios.